In the battle for the balls, which strategy is on target? Come join the excitement on Scientific American Frontier. Also, scientists compete with nature to grow the rare black truffle. Find out why this fan is pointed at this fire. And meet two champions of the deep. All coming up next on Scientific American Frontiers.
GTE brings you more than the power of telecommunications, light, and precision materials. A grant from GTE also brings you the power of a new world in Scientific American Frontiers. At GTE, the power is on.
Hi, my name is Woody Flowers. It really is. In addition to being host on this new Science Magazine program, I'm at least partially responsible for this bedlam you see here behind me. I'm a professor here at MIT. Years ago, I helped dream up a contest for engineering students that's now become an annual battle. Tonight, we're going to find out who wins and how.
This is the hottest ticket at MIT, a contest that packs the largest hall on campus. For the spectators, it's a battle of ingenious machines. But for MIT's engineering design students, it's the grand finale to a semester of hard work. And this year, there's more at stake than grades and glory. The best designers will go on to Japan for an international tournament. This is the challenge. Build a machine that can capture tennis balls from the pyramid atop this mesa. At the start, the machine must fit within a 1-foot cube on the starting square. What makes the task more daunting is that it's a race. Another machine starts here, and both students have 30 seconds to get as many balls as possible into their troughs on the far side of the table. If you end up with more balls in your trough, you win. The red ball, it's there to break ties. 6 weeks before the big night, every student receives an identical kit of materials and motors. Then it's into the shop to tackle the toughest part of the course, transforming the box of parts into a machine that actually works. We're going to meet 4 of these eager engineers in training: Aaron, Susie, Charlie, and Anton, and find out some of what they've learned. But now, on with the contest.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Aaron's up early, and right away, he runs into trouble. The metal loop is supposed to lasso the balls. It misfires and flips his machine onto its back.
Oh, I misfired again, dude.
A quick recovery, and he's upright again. But now he's got to drive up to the tennis balls and knock as many as he can down to his side of the table. His machine's not working the way he designed it, but all that matters is getting balls into the trough.
I was gonna catch the stack and then pull so they would land in here. And I built this fine container with this fine door, and it didn't work. I flipped upside down, but I turned myself over. I got lucky, I got really lucky, but it was fun. God, it was so much fun.
The last seconds before a match are nerve-wracking. After all, it's a final exam on stage in front of 500 people. Susie started planning for this moment weeks ago, when she got together with some classmates to brainstorm ideas.
I mean, if you could get 2 machines that could detach and attack 2 different areas at the same time, it would be ideal.
Yeah. Susie's vision of 2 machines may be brilliant or foolhardy when there's only 6 weeks to turn design dreams into reality. And building complex machines takes more than screwdrivers and hammers. Through it all, Susie hangs on to her scheme for 2 machines. She's built a bulldozer to tackle the offense. Now she's struggling with a spring-released wall that she'll use for defense.
It's going to go into the trough of the other person, and hopefully these rubber bands will trigger it out.
The trigger is sticky, but it works. In the contest, Susie's bulldozer gets off to a fast start. Then it rocks back and forth to deploy her wall in front of her opponent's trough. Now she can race the bulldozer around to collect tennis balls and anything else that gets in her way. Just 1 ball reaches her trough, but that's all it takes. To pull down that imposing stack, a net seems like an effective strategy. And there are many varieties of nets in competition. But nets have a problem. They can get tangled. Charlie recognized that flaw in the shop and came up with a more streamlined approach.
As soon as the power is turned on, I'll pull the switch and it'll fire this thing out. And this will open up like this and go over the pile of balls. Then I'll just drag the whole thing with my car. And I was testing this and I found that I don't even need a net. This will just do it by itself. So, you know, the net would just get tangled up in the balls. So I was pretty psyched about that. It cut down my work by a lot.
In this match against a net, we can see why Charlie's design is better. His heavy projectile pulls down the pyramid more effectively than a net. But right here is his most important innovation. He releases a string and leaves the projectile behind. That means it won't get in his way, and it makes his vehicle lighter and faster. While the net machine pushes around its useless front end, Charlie's more maneuverable tractor is pushing balls into the trough and demonstrating its contempt for nets. Anton has also designed a wall for defense. He built it quickly, then ran into some surprises in the testing room when he dared a classmate to try to overcome his wall.
Good job. Gee, small problem. Center of gravity doesn't look like it's inside the trough there, does it?
Anton starts to gloat.
Keep on pushing. I don't see balls going
But then...
Wait till I make it a bit...
Oh, you have to redesign it, Anton.
No, actually, it's just...
You have to redesign it. Oh my God.
Exposing design flaws is the reason testing's so important. And Anton hasn't finished learning yet.
My screws are a bit too long on the side, which means that you can push these balls over the edge and into the top of the wall.
I like that.
Another problem is you can push it out of your way. So that's what we do.
In fact, for most machines, testing means struggle and failure.
That didn't work.
You have a traction problem, not enough weight.
But on the positive side, when the machines are this far along, students can get helpful suggestions from the instructors.
All you have to do is widen that about 2 inches, and then you can win. Okay, it's going to work.
And the pace accelerates. Redesign, rebuild, test again, and try to keep learning from all your mistakes.
Well, I've improved the wall with 2 sort of basic things. I increased the weight of the wall by just putting this heavy metal piece on the back. It just weighs 5 pounds, so it's very hard to push. And I've also put square wheels on it, so in essence, if you're trying to push it, you're pushing square wheels, turning square wheels, which is really hard to do. And I've also flattened the sides off a bit, so you can't just bounce the balls off the side onto the top. And hopefully it'll work really well.
In the contest, Anton's extended the wall, but he triggered it too early, and it's not in the trough. That forces him to fight a battle in the trenches, and he pulls off a narrow victory.
It did it, so I'm happy.
Some matches are classic duels. But in other matches, the machines aren't quite on target. And just climbing the hill is too much for this pair. These tennis balls are frustrating a lot of students. One rogue entry sums up their feelings eloquently. As the contest moves into the next round, some other designs are emerging as strong contenders. This wall unfolds smoothly, and the speedy tractor wedges it solidly in the trench. With perfect placement, it takes just 1 ball to win. But pinning the opponent's vehicle is a more impressive victory flourish. Here's another strong starter. As this machine pulls down balls, it gobbles them up. Then it trundles toward the ditch. And this feeding machine doesn't even have to unload. It just parks right in the trough. A slick design that could win it all. Watch the machine on the right. It pulls down the balls with a belt. Then the tractor's front end flicks the balls into the ditch. This belt machine is another strong threat. Meanwhile, Aaron's machine is forging ahead, even though it's never worked the way he designed it.
Hey, my arm fired. The secret of my success is that it's slow and it's powerful, so I can drive it well. I dismantle the arm because the arm doesn't work, and so I'm beating people that their machines mess up because I can't screw this up now. It's literally a tank now. That's all it is now.
Now that he's abandoned the erratic metal ring, his tank just racks up balls to clinch the victory. In round after round, the pattern is the same. Aaron nudges home another winner and keeps on advancing.
Are you ready? Go!
Anton's up again. He heads directly for the other player's trough and unfolds his wall in just the right spot. Now he drives over to knock down some balls. And then bad luck strikes. The red ball rolls right into the opponent's corner. That really rattles Anton, and he loses control. Fierce competition is taking its toll.
I was just too nervous. I just drove off the table. I just couldn't handle the pressure, you know. Nerves, yeah.
Just forgot how to drive.
Charlie is winning one match after another. His V-shaped projectile consistently pulls down most of the stack. And that's not his only weapon. He's also got the speed to clean up balls all over the table. They're into the late rounds now. All the machines still running are strong, and every match from here on figures to be a fight to the finish. Case in point, this wall is perfectly placed yet again, and its designer is already starting to celebrate. But even when you do everything right, things can go wrong. The stubborn wedge machine drives two balls under the wall. Last-minute victory is a thrill for the winner and a stunning disappointment for the loser. Aaron's up against a cute and tricky penguin machine. This time, the tank is too slow and steady. The penguin beats him to the top and snags some balls, including the red one. Then Aaron bumps a few balls to his side. After a heart-stopping roll, only two wind up in his trough. That makes it 2-all, but the tie-breaking red ball is on the other side, and Aaron is knocked out of the contest. Susie's turn now against a projectile machine. The smiley face design is camouflage. This projectile is taking very serious aim. Meanwhile, Susie's gotten herself stuck in the ditch. And when she works her way out, she jams her wall right up around the red ball, on her opponent's side.
My driving drove me into the ditch. I really wish I hadn't because I really think I could have won that round. But I got lucky last round. Those are the breaks. So let the best man win.
The best man will be Chris, Pat, Pete, or Charlie, the only one of our original group still in the running. These four have made it this far because they designed take-charge machines that can attack the stack, collect balls on the table, and deliver them to the trough. In the first semifinal match, Charlie, with his detachable projectile, faces Chris and the belt machine. One emphatic push, and Charlie's headed for the finals. The other semifinal pits Pete and his feeding machine against Pat and the Penguin. Right from the start, the Penguin is hopelessly outclassed. Pete's feeding machine swallows up a cartload of balls and then plows into the trough. That sets up the final match of the contest. Six weeks of frantic work, of designing and building and testing, has come down to this moment.
Ready, go!
The projectiles collide, and just 3 balls roll Charlie's way. He decides his only hope is speed. Maybe he can block the feeding machine. What Charlie can't see is that Pete's jaw has jammed, and the feeding machine rolls away empty. Pete can still win by bulldozing the balls on his side of the table. But Charlie's machine is full of surprises. We know he's got a clever projectile and a fast tractor. Now, in a nose-to-nose shoving match, Charlie shows he's also got raw strength. Thanks to this triple threat design, the pride of the championship belongs to Charlie. He'll be leading MIT's contingent to Japan, and Frontiers will be there with him for the World Series of Engineering Design.
The question that I'm often asked about these contests at MIT is why? Sure, they're a blast, but each one requires months of planning. The companies donate thousands of dollars in bits and pieces to use in building the machines. 200 students spend about 100 hours each. They're a big deal. Why do we do it? To give the students experience in the engineering process. You see, knowing the facts and figures is not enough. We all have to learn how to apply them. Now, tackling a real-life engineering problem is not like competing in the contest, but building one of these machines is real engineering. That it happens to be fun is just lucky, I guess. Or maybe that says something about engineering.
A foggy January morning in the south of France. Farmer Boisset and his pig are trying to sniff out one of the world's most mysterious crops. They're hunting the black truffle, not a chocolate, but an exotic species of subterranean mushroom prized for its unique, musky flavor. The truffle's humble appearance, much like a small potato, is deceptive. But these days, truffle harvesters face a crisis.
Il n'y en a pas assez. Autrefois, il y en avait partout. Et maintenant, il n'y en a pas partout. Des fois, il faut faire 2 chaînes sur 30. C'est ça. Toutes les chaînes ne donnent pas de truffes. Hein?
That's bad news for Farmer Boisset and for his pig. To understand the problem, you first have to understand how the truffle grows underground. Every year, thousands of truffles are harvested. But some remain underground, releasing spores from which tiny filaments emerge. These filaments, called mycelia, grow around tree roots, eventually forming a special type of growth, part tree, part truffle, which helps both feed each other. 7 years after the spores are first released, the mycelia mysteriously knit together to form a truffle that will be ready for harvest. And that harvest goes on sale here in Lalbenque, 400 miles south of Paris. This historic market is devoted exclusively to truffle trading. Truffles are still available, but only in very small quantities.
Regardez, monsieur, le peu de truffes qu'il y a. Je ne sais pas si vous vous rendez compte, monsieur. Il y en a très peu de truffes.
The annual French harvest has dropped from 1,000 tons to 50, and that sent prices through the roof. At 2,000 francs per kilo, that's $175 a pound. There's hard bargaining and careful weighing. So for anyone who can dream up a way of improving the truffle harvest, there's big money to be made. "6,000 miles west of Lalbenque, just outside Davis, California, these two researchers may have perfected the world's first artificial truffle. Dr. Moshe Shifrin, the project's director, has to solve one key problem: how to mimic the truffle's natural life cycle in the laboratory. This tiny piece of real truffle contains spores which will, if left for several weeks, produce mycelia. In nature, tree roots provide this delicate growth with nutrition, but here in California, the mycelia don't need trees. They flourish on a top-secret liquid medium prepared by Dr. Shifrin and his colleague, Randy Dorian. As the truffles reach maturity, Temperature, light level, and humidity are all strictly controlled. The result is a biological breakthrough, not a truffle as we know it, but a carpet of truffle-like material.
In nature, truffles grow exclusively in association with the rootlets of oak trees. Most people have assumed that there is an absolute requirement for that association, but we found that in fact if the right conditions are simulated in the laboratory, that the truffles will develop quite nicely in the absence of oak trees.
Of course, with this method, there's no danger of a truffle shortage. But these sheets of growth are too delicate to be sold on the mass market. So instead, they're dried and then ground up into a fine powder, or mixed with olive oil. But there's one crucial question left. Does this product have the unique flavor of the true French black truffle? Dr. Chiffrine chooses to sample a mix of artificial truffle
Boys, that look good.
and vanilla ice cream.
It's really good.
Still, Frontiers wanted a second opinion, and so we took the California powder back to France.
Pure black truffle. Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est pas... Ça me paraît pas très bon, hein?
Chef Pierre Corr is skeptical. He's going to make 2 omelets, the first with artificial truffle.
Je verse mes œufs dans la poêle. Je vais faire l'omelette baveuse. Voilà. Voilà l'omelette américaine. Alors maintenant, je vais faire une omelette aux truffes françaises. Je vais la faire cuire baveuse. Une omelette, ça se mange très baveux. Voilà, je vais la rouler sur l'assiette. Voilà. Maintenant, je vais la décorer un petit peu.
It's all preparation for Frontier's first blindfold taste test. How will the artificial California truffle perform? It's a tense moment.
C'est un goût fade.
On dirait presque une omelette nature.
Ouais.
On retrouve pas du tout le goût de la truffe qui a un goût vraiment particulier.
Our tasters claim that the artificial truffle is totally tasteless. How about the real thing?
Oui, là, c'est un goût qui est vraiment totalement différent. On sent bien la truffe.
Now, with the blindfolds removed, what's the verdict?
Ben, il y a une nette différence, hein. On ne peut pas comparer. Les deux goûts sont totalement différents. Il y a un goût pour une omelette et une deuxième omelette sans goût.
But why doesn't the artificial truffle taste like its French cousin? Jean-Marc Olivier leads truffle research for France's Department of Agriculture.
It's not a truffle smell.
But it's hard to make an exact judgment on the basis of scent alone. So Dr. Olivier's team decides to take a closer look at the artificial truffle. Is there any visible clue which could explain the lack of the authentic taste and smell? Here's how the powder looks through the microscope. Thin strands and clumps of loosely scattered material. To an untrained eye, it's hard to make a quick analysis. But Dr. Olivier can tell at a glance that there's a crucial element missing.
No spore, no sign of spores. That means that it's sure it's not a true mature fruit body. If we have the mature fruit body, it's necessary to find spores, and here is nothing.
Under the microscope, the difference is clear. The California powder appears to be composed of chopped up mycelia, but real truffles, what Dr. Olivier calls the mature fruit bodies, contain tiny bags filled with spores, the seeds that produce mycelia that will themselves eventually form more new truffles. So the California truffle mimics part of the natural process by producing mycelia, but it doesn't appear to copy that mysterious final stage of development which produces the mature truffle. And that means one thing's for sure.
So far, despite all the research all around the world, nobody reached to get a truffle without a host tree.
At this nursery outside Bordeaux, Pierre Abersang grows thousands of oak and nut trees, just the species with which truffles grow well. He and Jean-Marc Olivier have developed a simple way to help nature along and thus restore the French truffle industry. They try to guarantee a bumper truffle crop by spreading a special mix of truffle spores and nutrients onto the medium that will hold the young tree's roots. If the bond between tree and truffle can develop at this nursery stage, then it should be well established when the tree is planted. It's a fragile union that depends on two key elements: the potency of the truffle spores and the health of the tree's root system. Now Dr. Olivier's group has come up with a way to marry tree and truffle even earlier. Every tree in this laboratory forest is genetically identical, cloned from a hybrid chosen for its hardiness and elaborate root system. The clones are a perfect match for this priceless raw material, thousands of spores of the black truffle, which could eventually restock France's truffle grounds. In a controlled environment, the natural process is copied precisely as each tree receives a carefully delivered dose of truffle spores. Early in 1998, these infant trees will have grown up, and best of all, their rich harvest of natural truffles will be ready to eat.
We like truffle very much in France. For dinner, it's a delicacy. It's a wonderful thing, truffle.
So in comparison to California's artificial truffle project, the French approach stays very close to nature. And this natural approach will produce powerfully flavored truffles that should keep Farmer Boisset and his pig happy for years to come.
Truffles are not a major part of my diet, but I do enjoy them. And I'm an even bigger fan of American innovation. So I think the California truffle deserves a second shot. That taste testing in Bordeaux, come on guys. A French chef, 2 French taste testers. It's not exactly what I'd call an unbiased test. So we're gonna do it again, this time in a traditional American institution. One of the problems that I had with the French taste test was that the blindfolds couldn't hide the texture difference between the California powder and the natural truffle. So we've gotten a new sample of the cultured truffle, which looks and feels a lot more like the real thing. Our master chef, Pat, chopped them both up and added the same amount to each omelet. I don't know which one is which, so here goes. Well, this one has a fairly strong flavor that's not particularly pleasant. They're pretty heavy, mushroomy aftertaste. This has a nice, complex, musty flavor. So it looks as though I agree with the French judges. But hey, California wines were a little rough around the edges at first too. Keep trying, guys.
Año Nuevo State Park is a nature reserve near Santa Cruz, California, and home, some of the time, to one of nature's most remarkable animals. These elephant seals, lounging in the shallows now, will spend much of their year far out in the Pacific, and most of their time far below its surface. It's mid-March right now, and this year's pups have been weaned and left behind by their mothers, who are already back at sea. Also left behind for the moment are the adult males, engaged in a few noisy but half-hearted brawls. The real fights were earlier, during the mating season. It's the males, which can weigh up to 2 tons, that have brought these biologists here today. Because soon the males too will be heading out to sea. And before they go, the research team from the University of California, Santa Cruz, hopes to equip some of them with their own personal computers. But first, the seal must be sedated. And when trying to put a 2-ton animal to sleep, it helps to know what to expect. Biologist Dan Costa.
That was pretty typical, that they rear up and sort of look at you and wonder what you're doing and then go back to sleep and ignore you. I want this in.
Before he gets his computer, the seal will be measured.
I don't think it's ready yet.
It takes 15 minutes for the seal to doze peacefully enough for its computer to be installed. That involves a patch of marine epoxy pasted on its hide. The tiny computer itself is part of an instrument package that also includes a depth recorder. For up to 3 months, the device will record information about when and how deep the seal dives. When he returns to Año Nuevo Beach to molt, the recorder will be removed.
Towards Dan.
Dr. Bernie LeBeuf.
Yeah, good. It gives us a lot of data into the animal's diving behavior, its foraging behavior, and it tells us something about this black box called the sea, which the animal enters into and then comes out of 2 months later.
Until now, what happens once the seal disappears into the black box of the sea has been an almost total mystery. But the data the seals are now bringing back with them is revealing an astonishing picture.
In about 12 hours, he goes to sea, and at first he's simply swimming about on the surface. 3 o'clock in the morning, he gets very serious about it. He starts to dive to a depth of about 100 meters, and this continues for about a day. And then he hits deep water at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 days later, and he starts to dive rather deeply. These would be dives about 300-400 meters.
We've converted these data from the seal's computers into profiles of what Bernie LeBeuf has found are typical dives. After just 2 or 3 minutes of rest on the surface, the seal again dives to some 400 meters, over 1,300 feet. The dive lasts about 20 minutes or so, and then the process repeats itself, over and over. LeBeuf guesses that dives like these are how the seal travels. Other dives go to 500 meters, over 1,600 feet, with the seal spending 8 to 10 minutes, probably feeding, at the bottom of the dive before returning to the surface for another 3 minutes or so to breathe. Some dives go beyond the limit of the depth recorder to over 1,000 meters. That's more than 3 times the height of the Empire State Building. But it's not just the astonishing depths of his dives that make the elephant seal so extraordinary.
They're spending 90% of their time at sea underwater, which is fantastic. No other marine mammal, even the whales, appear to spend that much time underwater.
The lengths and depths of the elephant seal's dives make it the clear world champion of diving. As to how it does it, we turn to another world champion to help us find out. This is Enzo Mallorca. Taking a deep breath, he is about to plunge into the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of his native Sicily. He has no oxygen other than the air in his lungs. A weight carries him on this dive to a record depth of 94 meters, over 300 feet. At the bottom, the weight is released. Before he reaches the surface again, he will have held his breath for 2.5 minutes. This unusual sport is called breath hold diving. Mallorca's daughter, Patricia. She has inherited her father's love of the sport and shares his feelings toward the sea.
Non è un avversario.
L'avversario da battere siamo noi stessi,
I nostri limiti, ecco.
le nostre paure, perché noi andiamo a mare, essendo dei normotipi, essendo degli uomini e delle donne perfettamente normali, noi andiamo a mare con le nostre giuste paure, di uomini e di donne.
Daughter Rosanna completes the family team, favoring a head-first technique, which on this dive will take her to 78 meters, over 250 feet. While the Mallorca's dives aren't impressive by elephant seal standards, by human standards, they're extraordinary. But even more remarkable is that both seals and humans cope with prolonged submersion by the same mechanisms. Seals may be much better divers, but humans are easier to study. The Mallorca family has been invited to this facility at the State University of New York in Buffalo. The Center for Research in Special Environments is set up to look at how the human body copes with extreme conditions. Its director is Dr. Klaus Lundgren.
If you are at all interested in how the body reacts to severe stress, whether it be encountered at great depths or at high altitude or at heavy exercise or what have you, it is very useful to push the body to its limits. It is as if you were looking at how the body reacts through a magnifying glass.
Today, the magnifying glass of Patricia's particular abilities will be used to examine a universal reaction, one shared by all mammals, humans and seals included, to going underwater. It's called the diving response.
Però Patrizia ti devi abituare gli occhi,
sì,
perché sennò ti cominciano a bruciare, dopo piangi proprio, arrivi a piangere. Quindi io ti consiglio di fare prima un'immersione ad occhi aperti.
Vabbè.
Patricia enters a pressure chamber that will be set to simulate a dive of 40 meters, over 130 feet. That's not extreme by the Mallorca standards, but every deep dive has its risks. Of the several measurements to be made of the diving response, a key one will be the pressure on this band around her calf. When a blood pressure cuff around her thigh is inflated, it will prevent blood flowing out of her leg through the veins. Blood will still flow into her leg through the more deeply buried arteries.
Inflating the cuff now. The cuff is inflating.
Here's what happens when Patricia is simply standing at the surface. The pressure on the calf band, the lower line, slowly increases as blood flowing into her leg is trapped by the blood pressure cuff, and her calf swells.
Okay, we have a nice flow.
When the cuff is released, the pressure falls as the blood escapes. But what will happen when Patricia dives? As she submerges, pressure in the chamber is rapidly increased, creating the same effect as going deeper and deeper underwater. At the equivalent of 40 meters down, she signals she's okay, and the blood pressure cuff on her thigh is inflated. This time, the lower line stays flat, showing there's almost no blood being trapped in her leg. The only explanation is that little or none is entering. In fact, this is what's happening. One of the first things that occurs when humans or animals go underwater is that the arteries supplying the outer parts of the body, like legs and arms, narrow sharply. This preserves the precious dwindling store of oxygen-rich blood for the organs that need it most, mainly the heart and brain.
So this is a way to stretch the oxygen supply and delay the onset of loss of consciousness, hopefully until you've been able to return to the surface where you can start breathing again.
Patrizia has been underwater for almost 2 minutes now. The mechanism her body is using to preserve oxygen supplies to her heart and brain is shared by us all. What Patrizia adds is training and a steely nerve. A second key part of the diving response is about to be measured in Enzo Mallorca, as he prepares for the deepest dive ever attempted at the Buffalo facility.
It's the dive which will put the greatest stress on the diver of all the experimental dives we have done in this series. Because of the low water temperature and certainly because of the great depth.
The diving response is more extreme in colder water. This dive is in water almost 20 degrees cooler than the other dives in the experiment and is planned to go to 70 meters, well over 200 feet.
And down. Going down.
As the pressure is increased in the chamber, Enzo has to compensate for the growing pressure on his eardrums by forcing air into his ears.
40 meters.
At 40 meters, his heart rate slows drastically to 1 beat every 5 or 6 seconds. This is the second major feature of the diving response. As blood flow to the rest of the body is cut, demand on the heart is lessened. That means it can beat more slowly, reducing its own need for oxygen and reserving the diminishing stores for the most important organ of all, the brain. Enzo's diving ability, he once held his breath underwater for 5 minutes, is a dramatic exhibition of the diving response. But even Enzo has his limits. At 50 meters, he begins to lose control of balancing the pressure in his ears, and he signals to come to the surface.
He had ear problems and stopped at 50 meters, but otherwise it went well. There was a considerable slowing of the heart, and we'll have to look at the details before we say any more than that. But there was quite a lot of slowing of the heart, which we expected.
Let's go.
Enzo Mallorca and his daughters are providing new data to understand how humans, as well as seals, cope with being underwater. The experiment is over, and the scientists are pleased. But Enzo, like all champions, does not like to accept limits.
At 50 meters, I have been forced to stop myself because my compensation was bad. I have tried about 10 seconds, but I have seen that I was not able to make the compensation and safety first.
When I was growing up in Louisiana, I learned about how to keep a campfire alive. As everybody knows, when the campfire starts to fade, you carefully add a little fuel, and then you lean over and you blow and try not to inhale too much smoke. Now here in New England, where that same process is very important on a cold morning, this thing, which is called a blow poker, is a real big help. You see, it lets you direct a stream of air and its oxygen right on the glowing embers. Suppose I were a firefighter and it was my job to put out a fire. The last thing I'd want to do is blow on it, right? Well, the next story is about a North Carolina fireman who's shown that sometimes blowing on a fire can make it easier to fight and help save lives.
At the fire training school in western North Carolina, firefighters find out what it's like to confront 1,000-degree flames from a few feet away. Protective clothing saves them from instant incineration, but in a real fire, heat is only half the danger they face.
Once we get you in there, we're going to do what we can to get you lost. And we want you to find your way out doing that. Now, we will be there with you, okay? So if you panic, don't drop and run like a scared puppy, okay?
This is the smokehouse, a sealed building filled with dense smoke. The carbon monoxide in the smoke is deadly. Firefighters can only enter the building wearing breathing equipment. Today's drill, what to do when hot, lost in the impenetrable smoke, and out of air. The firefighters are taught that a glove works as a temporary filter. The danger now is panic.
All I want you to do now is I want you to find your way back out of this building using one of the techniques that we told you about, okay?
Closer to the floor, the smoke is less dense and deadly, so firefighters learn to move around on their knees. Smoke, deadly gases, heat. These are what kill firefighters. And this, a powerful fan, is what now may help save them. The idea is simple on the surface. Blow the smoke and heat away through an open door or window. Instructor Larry Hughes.
You can see how the air starts to move and flow toward the exit port, and within a matter of seconds, the visibility really increases.
Larry Hughes has spent several years trying to prove to a skeptical firefighting community that sometimes blowing on a fire can help firefighters put it out.
We have a lot of chiefs that basically are set in their ways. And when something innovative comes along, they like to read about it, but they're real slow about putting it into the fire service, especially when you've been taught for hundreds of years that you don't add air into a fire room. And this goes against every principle that instructors for years have taught.
Okay, 6.5.
So Larry Hughes has planned an experiment to prove his point. He and his colleagues are setting up smoke and heat sensors around what's called a burn building, a structure in which fires can be deliberately set and fought. This one monitors carbon monoxide levels, a measure of how deadly the smoke is. And this sensor monitors temperature.
These are just heat probes, and what we'll be measuring here is at 6.5 feet, and we'll run this one up from inside and get it 3 feet. So we're saying like at bed level.
With the burn building wired, it's the firefighter's turn. Coast Guard Lieutenant David Ely is studying how hot firefighters get in their protective clothing. It's not just the fire they're fighting that heats them up.
You literally got a fire going on inside your body. When you're contracting muscles, exercising, even the beating of your heart is generating heat. Every one of those cells are burning, little bitty fires. They're all generating heat. Waste heat, it's got to be gotten rid of. It's got to be dissipated.
Sweat evaporating from the skin is the main way the body rids itself of heat. Mike Calhoun, one of the firefighters who'll be tested in the fan experiment, has a skin temperature at first of a normal 91 degrees. But it won't stay that way once he puts on his protective clothing. The suit helps keep flames away, but it also prevents the evaporation of sweat that cools his body. So in a hot fire, he can bake both from the outside in and from the inside out.
Fire is ignited. Fire is ignited.
The control experiment, fire without the fan.
450.
Immediately, the temperature in the building climbs to levels that can't be survived without protective clothing.
495. Mark, 500 degrees.
The 500-degree mark is the firefighter's signal to enter the building. But they wait until the fire is even hotter before attacking it.
675, we're hanging right around there.
The fire is quickly extinguished, but the firefighter's job has only begun. Through the still dense smoke, they must search the building. If this dummy were real, the high carbon monoxide levels would already have killed him. And the lingering deadly fumes continue to trigger alarms outside for minutes after the fire is out. Temperatures inside the building also remain high. After 10 minutes in this deadly environment, the firefighters emerge. For all this time, their exertions and the heavy protective gear, as well as the heat in the building, have been pushing their temperatures higher and higher.
100.3 Fahrenheit. We had high skin temperature readings, 100 degrees, and that's above his core temperature. What that means is that as the hot blood comes out to the skin, it's not cooling off. It goes back to the body, still hot, picks up more heat, then his body temperature begins to heat up. And it'll creep up, creep up, creep up, and at some point, it's just going to take off. And that's when you have heat stroke.
Heat stroke could cause a firefighter to pass out, potentially fatal in a fire. A fact Larry Hughes knows well. It's one of the risks to firefighters he hopes his fan will reduce. The fire in the burn building is lit again. The fan forces air into the building, creating higher pressure inside than outside. Hughes opens a window next to the fire. At once, visibility improves as the heat and smoke generated by the fire are pushed out of the building. Inside, carbon monoxide drops rapidly to levels that would have allowed this dummy's life to have been saved. And temperatures in the building drop rapidly too. Inside his suit, Mike Calhoun's skin temperature measures a much healthier 94.8 and dropping. So in this test, the fan does its job. But Larry Hughes knows it will take more than a controlled experiment to convince fire chiefs to change their ways. What he needs is a real fire in a real house. March 24th, 1990. Outside an abandoned house in Marion, North Carolina, fire captains from around the state are preparing to see for themselves what Larry Hughes's fan can do. This time, there will be gasoline to make a really big fire in the house, donated by its owner for the test. Within seconds, thick black smoke fills the house. Correct placement of the fan is critical. It's on the other side of the house from the room with the fire. So as the pressure in the house builds and the firefighters enter, the smoke and heat are pushed away from them. As an escape route for the smoke is created, the air clears more rapidly. And within moments, not just the smoke and heat, but also the fire itself is pushed outside. Had the powerful fan been pointed from the outside into the fire room, the fire might have spread over the attacking firefighters and through the rest of the house. But in this fire, the fan helps the firefighters douse the flames quickly, and by clearing the smoke, makes the search of the house much easier. The fan stays on even when the fire is out, helping clear the remaining smoke and heat. It's time for Larry Hughes to get the firefighters' verdicts.
Okay, crew, let's get together right over here. How much heat did you feel?
There wasn't any heat. A little bit around your legs, but I mean on the floor coming out, but there was no heat up.
You could see plenty of fire.
Yeah, plenty of fire all around you.
But it was not,
But there wasn't any heat.
How quickly did that room ventilate itself, and how quickly could you see every aspect of the room? How quickly could we go to the rest of the house and search for victims after we knocked it down?
Within 30 seconds.
Yeah, we had complete visibility up there, so.
You can stand up and walk around in less than a minute.
And the temperature monitors backed up the experience. The building started cooling down even before the fire was out. Larry Hughes has proved his point. Sometimes fanning the flames can help kill the fire.
What I like about that story is that it proves that you don't have to have a bunch of fancy degrees to think like a scientist. Larry Hughes proved his theory by paying attention to his own curiosity, being persistent, and understanding how to do a good experiment. And that's what counts out on the frontiers of science. See you there next time.
GTE brings you more than the power of telecommunications, light, and precision materials. A grant from GTE also brings you the power of a new world in scientific American frontiers. At GTE, the power is on.
For a transcript of this program, send $5 to Scientific American Frontiers, 70 Coolidge Hill Road, Watertown, Massachusetts, 02172.
This is PBS.